What's up, guys? How's everyone doing? Welcome to the Week 5 Power Rankings video for Smite Console League. My name's Jayfro, in case you don't already know. So this week has been a little difficult writing for Power Rankings because none of the matches were streamed. I love Labor Day. I've kind of just been asking around on players and stuff like that. A lot of players have been giving me some stuff. So most of my rankings are based on match results and word of mouth from the players I spoke to. So let's just dive right into them. So coming in at number 16, we got Benedict's Cavalry. Unfortunately, Cavalry couldn't pull themselves out of their slump from the last few weeks. They were pretty even, though, for the first 15 minutes of Game 2 that they had, but as soon as that Hell AD carry from In My Zen came to the fight, they snowballed. It was pretty one-sided after that, though, fortunately for them. Number 15, we got Hive Central. They dropped this week from me after getting swept by Jellyfish. They do still have the potential, though, to pull some wins from teams like Jellyfish and maybe Dobos. Hell, maybe even Rival. Let's not count them out just yet. Sitting over number 14, we got Money Esports, and they managed to pull a win this week over Fatal, pulling them up in my ranks. They're still at the bottom of the standings, though, so it'll take a lot more wins to catch up to the powerhouses of BFC, which, by the way, they aren't fresh meat. I said that last week, but obviously their heat uprise, their thing. It was regards, whatever. Anyways, and Hype Unit. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. They do have a lot of catching up to do, though, and there's only 6 weeks left in the season. 7. Yeah, 7 weeks left in the season. So coming in over at number 13, we got Team Jellyfish. And Jellyfish did manage to sweep Hive this week across the pond. This is their first sweep of Phase 2, so hey, congrats to them. I don't have much info on the match, though, so if someone from Jellyfish wants to reach out to me, my DMs are open. So coming in with MV3 at number 12 this week. These guys are sticking at 12 for me personally because they forfeited their match this week against VGS Gods. Their captain was on holiday, which, I mean, it is summer, so let's just hope he didn't go down to Florida. That'd be rough. Ugh. Coming in number 11, we got VGS Gods, and after an astonishing sweep of MV3 where they didn't even have to pick up their controllers, they're sticking around at number 11. And as awesome as a forfeit victory is, it doesn't really make me want to move them up in the rankings because they didn't work for that forfeit, obviously. Let's see if they impress us next week against Ariel Rice, because Ariel Rice is managing to really pull it off. But we'll get into them later. Coming in at number 10, we got Fatal Ambition, and although losing to SNG, they did manage to pull a game from them this week. They aren't falling too far behind in the standings, at least. If they can make a match from BFC in Week 6, they'll have more than a shot of Worlds. Well, maybe. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. But, I mean, they did fairly well. So, they aren't... I think they're at -1 in the standings, if I remember right now. So, they're fine. They'll do fine. But yeah, going off to number 9, we got Dobos Disciples, and they took a game from Rival, which is nice, but they did lose their match this week. Though they are no joke, considering they were the first ones in their division to pull a game from Rival rather. Listen, Rival, you guys better look out because these guys are coming for you. They're coming for the crown, and they're ready to just do whatever it takes to pull to the top of the division this week, or this phase rather. At number 8, man, I'm messing up my numbers this week. I am fried a little bit. At number 8, though, we got Blanche Fan Club. Against all odds, they managed to pull a win from the undefeated Hype Unit. They lucked out, though, because Hype Unit was using their sub, Visions VR, in place of Bobby, inbound. It would be nice to see them carry their momentum into Week 6, though, because, I mean, defeating an undefeated team, these guys should be really cruising. I mean, that's kind of a great feeling because you, out of everyone else, were the ones that take them down. So ride that high. We'll see how you guys do in Week 6. Sitting at number 7 now for me is Outcold Gaming Blue, and they did take an L at the hands of Ariel because they got a little cocky this week. They managed to win in Game 1, and they were 10-1 in Game 2 and decided to throw the game to keep the set interesting. This backfired in the worst way, and they lost all momentum going into Game 3. Sometimes it really doesn't pay to be cocky, so don't do it. You guys are in a position right now where you can't really afford to be cocky, so be careful. Be careful. So that means rising above them at number 6 is Ariel Rice. And Ariel saw their chance and stepped in to punish out Cole this week for their throw. They kept their heads leveled and did what they needed to do for Game 3. It really shows that these guys are grace under pressure and are not a team to be taken lightly. They know how to step in and take advantage of people trying to just troll them. So they kept their heads leveled, and it's pretty impressive to pull out that win. So sitting at number 5 for me this week is Nemesis, because they took a big L getting swept by Big Money. Last week we talked about making sure you guys watch out for that match, and yeah, they lost. This puts them down to a tie for second in the standings with E-Boys. However, I guarantee these guys won't be down for long. Next week, we get to see these two teams attempt to get a hold on the second place spot. So keep an eye out for that match. It should be extremely interesting because Nemesis did pull through last season, or last phase, so it should be fine. And sitting over at number 4 now is E-Boys Gone Wild. And I said it last week, and I'll say it again. PS4 NA is probably the most competitive division in Phase 2. One team in first place by one match. 2 teams tied for second, and Cavalry. But it's okay. E-Boys pulled through this week with a sweep, and they're looking to conquer next week. So look out, Nemesis. They might take that spot from you. Sitting at number 3 now is Big Money Esports. You know, I should really go to the casino, because last week I put my money on Big Money and they pulled through. So I have some good luck going for me. I should ride that high just like BFC should. But yeah, they not only did they win last week, they swept. It was a 2-0 against Nemesis, and they cinched the top spot in the division. They have a match next week that they probably shouldn't take too lightly. I mean, Cavalry has been hasn't really won at all yet, so they probably, even though that's the case, they probably shouldn't take it too lightly because they have the number 2s nipping at their heels. Still though, congrats to you guys. Good job for pulling out that win and taking that number 1 spot. Sitting at number 2 though, Hype Unit. They did break their streak this week in their match against BFC, and go figure, the week inbound decides to take a break or go on vacation. Vision steps in and couldn't really pull through. But if you think about it, they're undefeated when they have their full roster. So if everyone's there, they're fine. And as long as they're not rocking their subs, like they'll be fine. But yeah, I would recommend scrimming with them a little bit more, like with your subs, just because I mean, if you need them, you really need them to be ready to play. This kind of shows, and week 1 shows, I mean, Crim lost in week 1. I mean, you guys still pulled through with the 2-1, but Crim isn't getting it as much as everyone else should, and I mean, and it just goes to show Vision wasn't either. So definitely scrim with them a little bit more, just to get them more comfortable for the big leagues. So that means sitting at number 1 for me is Rival, and they did lose their first game this week against Dobos, but still pulled through with their match, keeping them at number 1 for me. Still, you can tell they're losing a little bit of momentum. They shouldn't take Hive lightly next week either, because this could be one of their biggest downfalls. If they take them lightly and then suddenly, boom, Hive Unit pulls a win. But we'll have to see. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in this week. My God. Tuning in this week for the power rankings. I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate the support from last video. A lot of you guys watched it, and for some reason enjoyed it. So thank you guys for tuning in and stopping by. And thank you guys for tuning in this week. There will be another one next week because we'll actually have matches to play, or matches to watch, and more information based off those. But thank you guys again. Again, if you want to, give me a follow over at Twitter at JFroLoontard, JFRO. It's right there. I mean, I don't need to spell it. And make sure you stop by the Console Pro News Twitter as well for more updates, and the website, because I update constantly. I already updated this week for SML and SCL. My power rankings were already out on the website before I made this video, so spoilers, haha. But yeah, just stop by on the website, consolecorner.co, and you'll get a full look at standings, at power rankings for all the divisions, SCL, SPL, SML. Should be good. I'll see you guys next week.